Hey, Michael Jackson here from Michael J. Pet Photography. Today I want to show you how I took a cell phone picture and turned it into a piece of wall art. So let me pop over to Photoshop and show you how I actually did that. This is Charlemagne. This is what the piece looks like at the end. And I just want to show you, here's what we started with. And I'm going to show you how we took this picture right here and turned it into this nice little piece of wall art that was um, the final piece. Okay, so let's get started. This is not a tutorial. This is an explainer video. We might do some tutorials in the future. So let's take a look at all the pieces to make up what we did with Charlemagne. So the very first thing that I did, let's take this little piece of Charlemagne here, is I had to remove Charlemagne from the background. And I did that, let me show you right here. I did that in a super rough cut just around Charlemagne so that we could use this later because I'm going to replace the background that you saw with this new background, okay? So the very first thing I had to do was get rid of Charlemagne's background. Now, super rough, I fixed that up later in the process, but if you take a look right here, when I cut out Charlemagne roughly, you'll notice that all of Charlemagne's whiskers are gone. See, there they are. And when I cut out Charlemagne from the background, because here's the background has been restored, but when I cut out Charlemagne, you'll see that I removed all the whiskers. So one of the first things I had to do was replace those whiskers, and I simply did that by drawing them in. And you can vaguely see them there, but let me show you on a background what they would look like standalone. So you can see right there, all I did is draw in all of the whiskers for Charlemagne. Okay, so that's how I got the whiskers back in. Another thing that I wanted to do with Charlemagne is if you look at Charlemagne's eyes, they're beautiful. They're cat eyes, but they're kind of dull. So the next thing I did is I actually brightened the eyes. And you can see there is that's before, and then this is after. I also sharpened the eyes down here, made them a lot sharper. Let me show you what that looks like in the overall picture. If I add the background again, um, there it is. And you can see if I take the eyeballs out, you can see um, there's the sharpened eyeball. So everything looks really nice with Charlemagne right there. Um, so the next thing I did after working on Charlemagne is I added a background. So let's just get rid of the background again. And the next thing I did is actually add this background. Now I'm going to turn off the Charlemagne so you can see what the background looks like. This is the background of the picture, and this could have been anything. It could have been a beach. It could have been, Dubai. It could have been any place in the world. I just picked this one because I kind of like the perspective just to show you what we could do with any kind of old background, all right? So, here we're done with Charlemagne for the second. Let's just get rid of that. And let's look at the pieces of the background. So one of the first things I did, here's what the original background more or less looked like. You can see that the original background had no stars and it was kind of dull looking. So one of the first things I did was make the sky blacker like that. And that popped out the whole picture, made the whole picture blacker is what I did. And then I wanted to add in some stars like that, and I had to be able to show them. So there they are. Here's all the places where I put stars. I just kind of erased a little bit of stuff, and then I put the stars in so that you can see the starry background. So that's the background. Um, and let's take a look now. So that's the next thing I did. And of course, then we take Charlemagne and pop Charlemagne onto that background. Now remember before I told you I had added the whiskers in? See, if I had not added those whiskers in, you wouldn't be able to see them on this background. And of course, the eyes are still nice and bright and they're sharp, okay? Next thing I did with Charlemagne is I wanted to tone the entire picture. Um, well, I'll show you that later. But I also added a street light behind Charlemagne, which you can see right there. I haven't decided if I'm going to keep that or not yet, or if I'm going to make the light smaller, but I put a street light behind Charlemagne more as a separator than anything else, because I wanted to be able to see Charlemagne and not be distracted by the city and the stars and all that kind of stuff. So I might make that a little smaller later, but for right now, that's what we're doing with Charlemagne. And then I wanted to tone the entire picture because once again, I think that the blacks, I want it to make a little bit blacker. Okay, and you'll also see that, there's some of this fur is not as white as I would like it. I'd like to make it whiter because Charlemagne's really cool. So the first thing I did is let's tone those blacks, and you can see there's the after. Here's the before, and here's the after. And also, let's take a look at those whites again. Look at the feet, look at the fur right here, and look at that. We had a little bit of blue, and that just popped everything out. So I think the color of Charlemagne matches the background just a little bit better. I do like the background with the street light because this glow around Charlemagne is very nice. So we're going to keep that. I just may make the street light a little bit smaller. And that's the last thing I did, just because I could, is down here on this wood, I decided to add my logo. I should have put Charlemagne's name, but I added my logo as kind of a wood pop out or cut out, however you want to say it. So that's me right there, Michael J. Pet Photography. And that's the whole piece. Of course, I'd do some sharpening and we'd get ready to put this in a frame. But that's how we turned a cell phone picture into a piece of wall art. So once again, let me show you the before and after. Here's the before, and here is the final piece with Charlemagne. So if you're interested in doing anything like that, get in touch with me, and we can talk about turning your cell phone pictures into some awesome wall art. Okay? Thanks. Hope you enjoyed it.